Hey guys, welcome to round 3 recap here at Oskemen Open. Today I played the guy who has impressed Jan Nepomniachtchi. He has gotten a winning position against him and eventually drew him in Samarkand in the World Rapid. He also defeated many top grandmasters while being still 15 years old. He is a young Kazakhstani player, currently an FM Yernur Amangeldi. And he was playing with the white pieces against me. I think he's still 15 or maybe he has turned 16. But he's very strong, very promising. But all players in this tournament are, well, almost all of them are higher rated than me, and I shouldn't be afraid. I should just play them and good things will happen. This is what my coach told me. So I was quite optimistic going into this game because two previous opponents were IMs. Now this is then an FM, so maybe it will be easier for me. So we will see. So he went e4. I chose the French defense. It's annoying that I was preparing for him and I prepared some lines against his d4 first move, which he usually chooses, but he surprised me here. But of course I know my French. But here, this is all theory. And here he chose an unorthodox approach. Usually people go queen d2 here, and then maybe castle long, maybe in some variations castle short after bishop e2, but the bishop goes to e2 here. Instead, he went for bishop d3, and I didn't remember what to do after this move. I remembered that it shouldn't be the best move. It's not the top engine recommendation. So I decided to surprise him in turn instead of the automatic knight c6, which is probably the best move according to the engine. Yes, I decided to strike in the center with f6 because I decided that it shouldn't be a bad move. Turns out it's an inaccuracy, but he didn't use it. He should here have gone for h4, a very strong move. And his idea is, for example, if I go knight c6, is to Greek gift me check and check, and I'm losing. Because if I take, he takes with a check, and my king has to run, and he goes queen h5, and I will be checkmated very soon. So I cannot take on g5, and if I don't take on g5, if I go here, for example, well, f5 opens up this bishop, and this game would have been very, very fast, very short if he did that. So bishop h7 is deadly. Of course, after h4, I would have probably gone h6, preventing all this, but he still can go knight g5 here. Very beautiful idea. Brilliant move according to chess.com, and he's winning. And because, again, I cannot take, that would be suicidal. The queen would have infiltrated. If I take with this pawn, he'll take nonetheless, and there are same ideas of the queen infiltrating, and if I go queen e8 preventing this, for example, he can go queen g4, and everything is collapsing here for me. So yeah, he missed it, unfortunately, but this was probably maybe not the only, but one of the only inaccuracies in his game. He played a brilliant game. So he took, I took with a knight. I decided to give him this c5 pawn because I don't care about the pawns. I want activity of my pieces. He doesn't take here. He goes queen d2. And here I thought for some time of going c4. And actually this is the top engine move, but I underestimated the idea that I could have implemented bishop b4. And I want to go knight e4. And his best choice is castles, knight e4 here. And it's around equal, but I have some pressure. So I didn't go for this because I really wanted him to castle long, and then I wanted to go c4. So I went knight c6, and I wanted him to castle long here. Instead he took. But had he castled long here, I would have gone c4, and then b5, a very strong move. Pawn sacrifice. If he takes, he opens up this file, and also I have knight e4 first, attacking the queen, and then rook b8 or queen b6. Probably both moves are great, and the computer already says that black is winning because the attack is unstoppable. Wow. I didn't realize that at the moment, but I thought that this is a very good idea of sacking the pawn on b5, and taking is bad. He should not take, but already black is very much better. So he did not go for that. Instead, he took the pawn. That was on pre. And here I harassed his bishop. I wanted to get the two bishops advantage. if he does nothing and doesn't retreat, but he retreated the bishop. And here I went queen a5, putting more pressure on the c5 pawn. I want to win it back, maybe not immediately, maybe immediately, who knows, we will see. He castled, I took, he kicked my knight, I dropped back, and we traded. And it turns out, surprisingly, that this position is much better for white. It is +1, because my bishop is very stupid. This bad French bishop does not see the light of day. I really want to activate it, but for the time being, my opponent is controlling the e5 square. I can never push e5, so I need to activate it somehow like this, but it's a slow process. But we have the opposite side castling on our hands, so I always have the idea of pushing b5 before attacking my opponent. So I was feeling confident that this is what I should do. He went rook e1, centralizing his pieces, putting more pressure on this square, controlling it. And here I thought that rook b8 is a decent move. I'm preparing b5 before, and I try to attack. Yes, my bishop is bad, but I thought that the position is balanced. Turns out I was wrong, and it's very unpleasant already for black. But nothing too crazy. Still, there is room for counterplay here. He drops back with the knight, an excellent move. I actually did not expect it, but his idea is that he wants to control the dark squares with his knights and also overprotect the f4 pawn. So I attack his bishop with a knight and also attack the pawn. So he defends the pawn with the king. And here I decide to trade the knight for the bishop. I realize that I will have the bad bishop against a good knight, but I thought that his bishop on d3 is very important for his attack, and I'd better take it. And the computer actually agrees. So I take, and I was expecting queen d3, and I wanted to go knight e4, centralizing my knight with threats like knight f2, forking the queen and the rook. And it turns out that this is okay for black. Black is close to equality here. But I was really surprised again when he took with the pawn. This was not a decision I expected. So turns out this pawn, yes, it's weak, it's isolated, but he doesn't care because he wants to put the knight on d4, and it will be a great outpost to put pressure on e6, and the other knight can go here, for example. And my e6 weakness is horrible, and I can do nothing about it. And I don't have the time to start an attack because, yeah, I would have loved to have like 5 moves in a row to push some pawns here and destroy him, but I don't have this luxury. So I have to develop my pieces first. I develop the bishop. He puts the knight on d4. Great square for the knight again in front of the pawn. And this is why he took with the pawn, to control e4, to disallow my knight from activating. So here I went knight h5, attacking his f4 pawn. I have 2 attackers now, but he decides that it's not that dangerous. He first drops back, and I thought I can repeat moves, of course. Knight f6, knight d4, knight f6, and it's going to be a threefold repetition and a draw, but he's not obliged to repeat, first of all. So I was not sure if he repeats or not. I think I would be fine with a draw at this point because I still have some fever and I'm not feeling too well. So I thought if I draw, well, it's okay. He's high rated. I will gain some rating points. No need to push. Yeah, if I had a great position, I would have pushed. But if I realize that my position is not better, then a draw is okay for me. This is my philosophy against in such conditions. If I realize that I'm slightly worse against a better, a low-rated opponent, of course I will play for a win. So I think this is like common sense, basically. So here I could have repeated after knight e2. I could have repeated moves, but again, he's not obliged. He could have gone g4, for example. So I thought, you know what, I'm not going to repeat. I'm going to infiltrate queen f2. And this is where it all started going downhill. Because at first glance, I'm putting some pressure on g2, and this knight, if it leaves, then it will no longer guard f4. And I really felt that I have some counterplay here. And I thought that... what did I calculate here? I calculated something here. I calculated that he has 95, which he did, yes. And I thought that I'm very clever. I'll first attack his rook with my bishop, force him to go b3, weakening the dark squares around his king, and then I will drop back to e8. But turns out this is already This is inaccurate because he didn't go knight e5. Sorry, guys. He first rook f1 attacked me, and this is the fatal mistake. I took the pawn. I shouldn't have taken the pawn. I should have admitted my mistake and dropped back to b6, and still white is better. After g4, white is controlling the dark squares, and probably I would have to suffer for the rest of the game, but that's what I should have done. Instead, I took the pawn. I didn't really see why not. And here I calculated that he goes knight e5, I go bishop a4, he blocks, and I drop back to e8. And I completely forgot the fact that he can just trap my queen. He can just trap my queen with rook f3. I forgot about it. I thought he has no way of trapping my queen, because if rook g1, I can just take the pawn, or I can go queen f2. But he went rook f3, and I completely missed this move. And turns out I'm in deep trouble. So I should have, after b3, I should have gone bishop c6 to at least have a choice of going d4 here, taking this rook. And if he goes rook g1, I could have traded the queen for 2 rooks. Of course, at the end, he has this fork. I didn't think about that. I didn't calculate this variation. This is what the computer shows. So he had this fork at the end, and he's probably still close to winning. Well, at least he's much better. He can take, and queen a5 is a nice fork. My pawn, my knights are hanging. This pawn will fall. So probably it's winning for white, but this requires some technique. But this is what I should have gone for, realizing that my queen is about to get trapped. So after b3, I should have dropped back to c6 with my bishop. I dropped back to e8, and I didn't see rook f3, and my queen is trapped. If I do nothing like rook a8, he goes rook g1. The only square for the queen is h2, and then knight g4 attacks the queen. The queen has no moves, and I will have to give up the queen for the rook, which is, of course, fatal. So seeing that, realizing that I'm in trouble, I decided to go for, instead of a rook a8 in this position, which is a nonsensical move, I just wanted to show you what happens if I do nothing. I went knight f6 to prevent at least this knight g4 jump. But he found the rook g1 idea, and queen e1, very precise. And now my queen doesn't have any squares, and rook h1 is coming, and I will have to sack my queen. I decided, okay, I'll go bishop h5, and at least I'll take 2 rooks for a queen and a bishop, but of course I'm hopelessly lost here. And here I decided, okay, I'll try to go for some counterplay. Rook c8, maybe double up on the c file, maybe infiltrate somehow with my 2 rooks. He goes here. I cannot just meekly passively defend with rook e8, because then he'll go h4, queen h3, put more pressure on e6, e6 will fall, and next d5 will sooner rather than later fall. And of course, a queen and 2 knights is better than 2 rooks and a knight. He has some significant material advantage, and the knights are great, very strong on these squares. I cannot get to them, so yeah, very unpleasant for me. And I decided, you know what, I'll go for some counterplay. I went rook c3, hoping that he'll take, and then I'll double up. And at least I have some checks. Of course, it's still lost, but maybe, who knows, I can trick him somehow. But he didn't even take this pawn, very professional. He went knight b5, attacking the rook. If I drop back, he will be able to go to d6, for example. For example, rook here, I thought he'll go knight d6, and these knights are controlling all the important squares. This pawn is also hanging, and this is horrible for me. So I decided not to drop back. Yes, my rook is hanging, but I decided to implement one last trick, knight e4. So if he takes my rook, you know what will happen. Knight d2, check, forking the king and the queen. Of course, I knew that he's going to see it, but I had to try something, so not stand passively. And here anything wins for him, but probably what he did is the most precise idea. Queen g4, he's attacking e6 now, and my knight is hanging, and my rook is hanging. And if I, for example, check him and drop back, let's say here, then I have a forced, he has a forced checkmate. Do you see it? Queen e6, knight f7, and this is a famous sequence of moves. If I take queen e8 will be checkmate, and if I go here, this is a nice smothered mate. You should know this pattern if you play chess long enough. So of course I saw it, and I realized in this position that I have no counterplay left, and I'll probably lose some material or get checkmated. So I resigned in this position. Unfortunately, I have just 1/2 of a point after 3 rounds, but I'm seeded number 128 out of 130, so I expected to be beaten quite a lot. This is still valuable experience. I hope I can come back in the upcoming rounds. Stay tuned, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.